Welcome to the Board Game Snobs podcast. Critically harsh reviews with a touch of class.
And welcome to another episode of the Board Game Snobs.
What are you doing?
This is your host, Gabby.
You're supposed to say go.
Okay, say go.
Just because I'm under the weather.
Say go.
I am recovering from food poisoning.
That's Jerry.
I ate 2 kolaches from the Daylight Donuts. They were not. They were not.
Who poisoned your food?
Well, I don't think they poisoned them. I think the fact that they were a week old.
I really thought you were fixing to say 2 colostomies, which I'm glad you didn't, because that would be really disgusting. And no wonder you got sick.
Why would you have dual colostomies?
You said I ate 2 kolaches.
Kolaches.
That's the pig in a blanket, right?
That's the fancy pig in a blanket.
Ooh,
it's like
uptown penthouse.
It's like in a croissant.
That pig ain't in a blanket. He's in a penthouse.
He's in a
croissant.
Afghan. He's in a fancy blanket. That's right. I ate a very suspect kolache, to be exact, at my place of business, not realizing that they were a week old. And that has produced 48 hours worth of nausea and diarrhea, for which the point that I get to is that I went and had to buy some Pepto-Bismol. I love Pepto-Bismol.
The pink stuff.
Yes. And I was shocked to find that my wife did not have this readily on hand. She is not a big believer in Pepto. She says
Redley Scott.
She doesn't think we reuse it. And I tell you what, having food poisoning will make you feel alien.
You'll be. You thought something was bursting from your stomach.
But in reverse, wouldn't that have been weird? No, I ain't going there. But like, I know
instead of bursting,
instead of
bursting out of your stomach, it's bursting out of other places.
Orifices. I like the word.
I love
orifice.
that show with Michael Scott. The Orifice.
Oh.
All right. Well, Jerry, you were talking the other day.
Jim hernia. What?
You were talking about. Oh, never mind. Completely unrated. I just wrote down. Let's bend an Eldo. Eldo. Come on over here, boy.
Eldo Waggins.
Eldo Waggins.
Let's take the ring to Mordor. I have yet to watch that. I know Dan Hughes keeps saying I need to watch that, but I don't want to watch Dildo Baggins take some ring, climb some mountain, and throw it in the volcano. I ain't got 6-7 hours of my life to watch that.
It's fine. It's really good. Okay, I just went from fine to really good.
That's a stretch.
It's probably been 15 years since I watched them, so I don't know.
It has Viggo Mortensen, which I really like him.
Viggo Mortensen.
He did that horse show. I don't like horses. Because horses? Why the long face?
Where he's like, because he was like riding a horse out in the desert, right?
He rode Hidalgo. It was apparently
Hidalgo.
Yes, that was a great show. And he went out to the desert on a race and won. Spoiler alert.
I don't know why I write stuff down sometimes.
Right.
Because I'll have stuff written down like, okay, we're going to do this, this, and this. But it doesn't matter because we go off on so many tangents.
I don't get on tangents. I stay as zero and I'm ready.
Okay.
Tell me what you want to talk about.
Nothing. Like literally nothing.
No, read from your diary.
Had written down, let's bend an elbow together. You ever heard that phrase?
Let's bend an elbow. Is that like eat?
No, drink. You're bending your elbow.
Oh, I've not heard that expression.
Bend an elbow. Do some chin wagging. You heard chin wagging?
I've never heard that either.
You never heard of chin wagging?
No, I've heard chin wagging, but I knew that's like talking, like you're wagging your chin.
Or it's a wagon full of chins.
Do you know?
Dead corpses.
No.
Or one giant chin. Like those big faces on the island in Chile. That's what they called when they moved those big faces off that island in Chile. Easter Island. They had big chins, so they needed some chin wagons.
They all look like Jay Leno.
Yes.
That's Leno Island.
The Jay Leno of statues.
All right, right now. Wait, stop for a second. Jay Leno. Okay, rank them. Jay Leno, Conan O'Brien, David Letterman. Tell me about him. Jimmy Fallon, I don't even like him.
I'm a Conan David J. And the only reason...
I agree with you on that.
Okay. Most people put David Letterman ahead, like he's all the go. But he kind of seems like a jerk to me.
Dave's not that funny. Jay Leno's a jerk.
Jay Leno's like the behind your back jerk, as he proved in Conan O'Brien's situation.
Let me tell you about Conan O'Brien. The funniest thing, Coney O'Brien.
Coney Island O'Brien.
Foot-long Coney cheese.
Foot-long O'Brien.
All of our Sonic. I bet there is nobody who knows about a foot-long cheese Coney if you're not from Oklahoma. I don't think Sonic is an Oklahoma restaurant.
Surely.
Okay. Well, no, they don't have them in Alaska. I know for a fact because they don't have drive-ins.
No.
But there is a business called Sonic, which you don't go into. It's all a drive-through. There's like 15 or 20 parking spots that you park. You push a button, and they bring you food out. You don't ever get out of your car, and there's a foot-long cheese Coney, which is basically a fancy hot dog.
The drive-in, very predominant in the movie Dazed and Confused.
I digress. Foot-long cheese Coney O'Brien. He did one of the best bits
with tots.
He did one of the best bits on Late Night ever. He was on NBC when they got the rights to one of the most popular and the cheesiest television series of all times. I'm talking about Walker, Texas Ranger.
Oh, yeah.
And Conan O'Brien did this skit where he would pull a lever at random and they would show an out-of-context Walker, Texas Ranger skit. Please get on YouTube and Google this. Walker, Texas Ranger, Conan O'Brien. Your life will be complete. For all of our European listeners, if you do not know who Walker, Texas Ranger is, you also must not know who Chuck Norris is.
Everybody knows who Chuck Norris is.
Chuck Norris.
Lone Wolf McQuaid.
Taught my mom karate.
No, he did not.
My mom was a purple belt.
Oh, my God. Literally, you come to me with a new thing from your life that just sounds made up.
I'm going to call my mother.
And let me guess, that karate chop he taught your mom is what you used to get the guy out of the submerging Suburban in the pond.
I would not karate chop somebody without their consent.
May I punch you, sir?
Be ready to be incapacitated. And no, so for real, in the 80s, Chuck Norris was an action star briefly. Like he tried to be like Steven Seagal.
He had several B-grade movies.
So what they did was
Lone Wolf McQuaid being the best of the bunch.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
Oh, well, Delta Force. Delta Force was good.
I'd have to rewatch it.
Rewatch it. So they decided to make a cop show about the Texas Rangers, which are basically the highway patrolmen of Texas. And they hired Chuck Norris to be the main star. Chuck Norris cannot act. They decided during this long-running television series to make it as cheesy as possible, and once they realized that was the case, they just leaned into it. They actually had Chuck Norris sing the theme song in season 2. When the eyes of the Ranger are upon you. He sang it, and they thought that was a good idea. And then next season, they're like, no, we can't have you do that. Like, he didn't really sing it. He just did spoken word.
Can we go back to Chuck Norris teaching your mother karate?
He taught my mother, who's 5'2", slightly overweight, but my mother also participates in various type of, I don't want to say yoga, but Pilates.
Martial arts?
Yes. She's like 67 years old, and she can still, to this day, kick you in the face. She is a very agile woman. Like, I fear she could fight somebody off. She could fight you. And if my mom...
Are you saying you would take your mom over me in a fight?
Absolutely. My mom would beat you down.
Whatever. No, I would tackle her.
No.
And just sit on her.
You don't understand. You wouldn't be able to tackle her.
I'm quick as a cat. I'm big but fast.
But you get kicked in the face.
I wouldn't get kicked in the face.
You would get kicked in the belly, and all that inertia would like
that cannonball hitting the guy in the stomach in slow motion.
I'm not saying that that's what happened, but anyways, in Chuck Norris, Walker, Texas Ranger.
Has anyone ever called him Charles Norris?
It doesn't have the same.
It's not the same.
It's not the same, Charles.
Charles Norris III.
Everybody in
he started off in Downton Abbey.
Everybody and their dogs was a bad guy in Chuck Norris, and they were so cheesy. Like literally every B actor ever. I met somebody who was a bad guy on Chuck Norris.
My God. Well, of course you did.
I worked with his wife. She was a phlebotomist at this hospital, and her husband, who literally had never acted in his life, answered a casting call for, and I kid you not, they wanted a mean-looking Native American to play a bad guy on Chuck Norris. Her husband, who had no acting experience, he worked at a lumber yard, applied, got it, One show, one episode. That was it. Literally everybody and their dogs. If you live in southeastern Oklahoma, you have been.
Where was it filmed at?
It was southeastern Oklahoma, northern Texas.
I thought it was like down in Houston.
No, it was local. Chuck Norris was Dallas.
Huh.
Yeah.
I remember that show. The Good Guys it was supposedly cops in Dallas. Chuck Norris, 81 years old, by the way, now.
Is he? He doesn't look a day over
75.
80. Yeah, he looks good.
He's still in good shape. I saw him on TikTok punching. He could still take me out.
So if people don't understand, Chuck Norris was a karate master that had one move, and that was the roundhouse kick. He would kick you in the face.
You don't need no other move.
If you could kick somebody in the face, well, I don't know what momentum that gives you when you spin around real fast, but apparently that's a lot.
So is it like, he's leaving. He's leaving the fight. Oh, no. Full circle. Full circle. I didn't see it coming.
Didn't see that coming. Like, I would assume that as soon as I saw someone spin around, I would just duck. Like, if I would duck like that, what would he do if I ducked one time? And you kicked and I wasn't there. Oof.
Has he ever missed?
It was never depicted in the show. I do appreciate, though, that every time Chuck Norris in the film would shoot a gun, that man has never fired a pistol in his life. He would shoot his revolver. He had like a 38 pearl-handled, nickel-coated revolver.
Coated.
Like it was like he'd shoot it out like this. Like he'd run around like not looking at down the sights. It was awful.
Chuck Norris don't need sights.
Why would you? You could just look, and he just bends the bullet to his will.
The bullet goes where his eyes seek out.
Anyways, Chuck Norris. If you don't know who Chuck Norris is, you need to get to know him. How did we get off on this? Oh, that was from your journal.
I don't even remember. Did you know that honey is the only natural food that never spoils?
I did know that because they found honey in like Egypt that they dated to be like 2,000 or 3,000 years old.
So you could go eat that.
You could eat that.
That is now absolutely insane.
Natural honey, not the stuff that you buy in the store, but like legit honey. Because some of the store stuff they not pasteurize.
Made from the thorax of bees.
Yes.
How do bees make money? How do they make honey?
Like that.
Easy, big fella.
Easy, big fella.
Who makes the honey?
The drones.
How do they make it?
They rub their hands together. I don't know. That's a good question.
Do they secrete it?
Did you know that you were talking about terms and words? And I wanted to throw this out there.
Okay.
Don't quote me on this.
I never do.
But a bathroom.
Not once ever have I quoted you.
Why is it called a bathroom? Even if it doesn't have a bath in it.
I don't know.
Because it's not named after the bath. It's named after a female serial killer with the last name of Bathy, who would go in to bathrooms, or what they used to call water closets, to kill her victims.
The loo, if you're in England.
And clean up and bathe in their blood was the term.
God. Are you serious? Is this real?
Dead serious.
Did you get these facts off TikTok?
Matthew Jude or somebody. I can't remember.
What?
This is legit. Look it up.
So it's not because there's a bathtub in there.
Has nothing to do with it. We just took
It's because the woman bathed in blood.
Of her victims. Which is what I like to do.
What about the loo?
The loo?
The loo.
The loo is, I would assume...
it's like the toilet.
Yes.
Going to the loo.
Going to the loo. I don't know why. So, Australian listeners. Oh, Michael Langford sent us an email that we need to play.
Okay, we'll get to that.
Please do, because you forgot to play it last time.
Yeah, we didn't record since then.
He told me he sent it.
No,
and you
he
ignored
just
him.
sent it.
Michael Langford is a longtime listener from down south.
You're getting away from my joke. The toilet, the loo. Poor Lou Diamond Phillips. Is it toilet Diamond Phillips in England? He goes to England and transfers his name.
Oh, your movies are crap. No, he was really good in
La Bamba.
Oh, that. And what was that one with Denzel?
Longmire.
With Denzel. Oh, I loved him in Longmire. But there was a movie with him and Denzel.
Oh, that's the one with
Courage Under Fire.
Courage Under Fire.
Courage Under Fire.
With
yes, Meg Ryan.
Harry and Sally. Yes.
Meg Ryan. What happened to Meg Ryan?
What's Meg Ryan's net worth? Like, you would think like in the 90s and early 80s, she ruled the movies.
She was probably one of the best female, and I hate to use the term, I say female actors instead of actresses because I don't like the idea that they gender actor and actresses. You're all actors. Like, I don't care. I hate that term. But anyways.
Ooh, 85 million. Not bad, Meg.
Ooh, you got cash.
And she's only 59.
Show me a 59 picture of Meg Ryan. She is still attractive.
Yes. She still got it. But I don't think she acts anymore.
No, I don't think she acts professionally.
Oh.
Maybe in everyday life she does.
Putting on the front.
But not up front.
She fronting. She went from acting to fronting.
She was in that show about angels with where it was like one of those weird Nicolas Cage movies.
That's where that came from.
No, Nicolas Cage was an angel.
He was cast down from heaven.
Was that the thing? City of Angels?
And then Sarah McLachlan, City of Angels, yes. Me and my wife went and watched that together in the movie theater.
No, you didn't.
We sure did.
Little
did we know.
Why would you go watch any Nicolas Cage film in the theater?
How we knew that movie would end. Severely depressing, weird movie. It's an angel cast down from heaven. Sarah McLachlan playing in the background. That was not a good experience.
I'm sad right now, and I don't even know how
it was not a good experience.
I like Meg Ryan.
If you don't like Meg Ryan and her movies in which she was just a great character, especially to Tom Hanks and Billy.
Billy.
She's great.
She's great. You know who else I miss?
Who?
And I'm thrilled to death that the COVID is over. I say over, but I mean like all the lockdowns are lifting because Maverick's going to come out and I'm going to get to see my girl. Jennifer Connelly's going to be in Top Gun.
Oh, yeah.
And I really miss Jennifer Connelly.
I literally only know Jennifer Connelly from The Rocketeer and the one where Russell Crowe saw lots of different things.
She was also in that one where that goofy guy was in the mall. I can't remember the
Mannequin.
name. No, it's something stupid. It's something stupid. But Jennifer Connelly was also in Mulholland Drive, which was a classic film. Film noir.
I've heard of it.
Is it film noir? Film noir?
Nora Jones.
Nora Jones. What? I like her too.
Nora Jones.
Wait a minute. Who's Nora Jones?
She's a singer.
Nope, don't like her. I don't like any singers.
I don't like singers.
I like singers. Next question on your banter, please, before we move on to board game.
If natural honey never spoils, so is that why the mosquito was found in that amber? Is amber just honey? What is amber?
Tree sap.
I'm bathing in honey from now on. That's all I know.
Oh. You're going to attract flies.
Did you know?
I did.
Speaking of Australia.
Aussies.
It's the only continent with no active volcanoes.
So I guess you could say it's incontinent. That joke made no sense, but in my head it was funny.
It's not producing any magma.
So it has no
active volcanoes.
I'll tell you what.
It's got everything else.
Iceland and Greenland, them places are lighting up. Reykjavik, over there.
Is it blowing up right now?
They're always lighting up. There are always volcanoes over there. I wonder if Christopher and Valdi are all right.
I'm sure they are. They're come from a sturdy people.
Send a flare. A sturdy people. Yeah, they are resilient.
The Vikings?
I would hate to fight a Viking / Greenlander / Icelander / Highlander. They are really the true Highlanders.
Did you know? Okay, but my point was, so it's like Australia has everything else that's deadly.
It does, but not volcanoes.
Most deadliest snakes. Deadliest scorpions, deadliest spiders, deadliest jellyfish.
I don't know how their health.
Great white sharks.
They have great white sharks.
Great white sharks.
Crikey.
Crocodiles.
Crocodiles.
Alligators. No. Actually, I don't know if they have alligators or crocodiles. He says a crook will grab you. Okay, so it's alligator. It's crocodiles, not alligators.
Obviously.
Crook will grab you, take you down. Yeah, over and over and over till you stop kicking. Put you in a Craig or Rook. Tenderize you a bit. It's good eating.
I tell you what, that's what you do. That's how you came to know what was important in life, was watching Crocodile Dundee and seeing, what was that actress's name?
Don't know.
I don't know. But watching Paul Hogan spy on her while she's scantily clad and then
dirty old man
rush in and stab a crocodile, and she's never like, how did you know? Like, why didn't she question the fact, were you watching me bathe? Absolutely not.
He was like 50 years old in that movie, wasn't he?
He still looks good, Paul Hogan.
Linda Kozlowski.
Linda Kozlowski.
That's his wife. They're not together anymore. Did you know, speaking of Crocodile Dundee, the Matthew Berry, like the man when it comes to fantasy football,
so
has a
fantasy
podcast.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I was trying to get your attention to cut this off. I thought fantasy football was like the lingerie league. Fantasy football is when you just pick the guys and you and Bubba do that thing. Yes. I'm sorry. I was like trying to don't go this way. This is inappropriate. Okay, I'm sorry. I have no clue. That's how little I know about this.
That would be fantasies of the football league.
Fantasies football.
Fantasy football is where you get on the computer.
Meg Ryan's my running back.
And so you're like, all right.
Mel Gibson's my tight end.
You just go through and you have 10 of your buddies and you go through in an order, and I pick a guy, you pick a guy. Then those guys all compete and whatever their actual stats are that weekend. I used to really be into fantasy football, by the way. Not anymore.
Get back into it.
But anyway, Matthew Berry was a co-writer of Crocodile Dundee 3.
Good for him. Because Crocodile Dundee...
And it was a terrible movie.
Well, it wasn't horrible. It was all right. Crocodile Dundee... Well, no, I'm thinking of two. Crocodile Dundee 2 was actually pretty good.
2? To me, I like better than 1.
No, you cannot...
You gotta make a telephone cool.
You cannot tell me...
Michael Langford doesn't care for my Australian voices.
Crocodile Dundee 1, where he's walking over people's heads in that subway.
Yes.
If you don't get teary-eyed.
It's wonderful.
Like
that music starts to soar.
I mean, that was just an amazing.
New York came together to help this Australian get to his girlfriend.
Yeah, they're all yelling back at each other, and he's like, well, "Tell her I'll come on over." And he just starts walking on people's heads. That was
great. That was a great
show.
scene.
I'm going to watch that show.
We're doing it now. We're cutting off the episode, going to watch Crocodile Dundee.
I would do it, but we got to talk about what we're going to talk about.
Hold on. We'll
save it for the next episode.
No. Okay, yeah, you're right.
Because you don't want to dump too much out there for people. Are you going to play Michael Langford's voicemail?
Yes.
Okay. You're going to do it now?
If you so wish.
All right, do it now. Michael Langford has been listening to us for a long time.
We're doing it live.
He's an Australian listener. Who's the other guy that's been sending us in voicemails?
Joel Stibbard?
Joel Stibbard. Joel?
Troy? You're about Troy Clohessy.
I'm worried about Troy. I ain't heard from Troy. Joel, you need to contact us, because I think you and Michael Langford might be close there in the Down Under. Y'all might be neighbors, and you might not know it. Anyways, so Mike,
are you ready for Mike?
Play it.
G'day, Gabby and Jerry. Congratulations on 150 plus some more episodes of the Board Game Snobs. I'm a bit late because, in Australia we do things a bit differently, so you're just going to have to deal with that. I do have one thing to say to Gabby personally, though, and that is, how dare you? You do the most offensive Australian accent I've ever heard, especially when you're imitating Jerry's son, Jack. He doesn't sound like an English shoe shiner. So, knock it off. Good work. And I'll catch you in the next 150.
How does he know my kid doesn't sound like you?
Little does he know. Little Jack. That's where you adopted him from, right?
You're right. I'm from England.
From England. As a shoe. You're like, I'll take him.
I'll take him. How much for that one?
And he's like, oh, thank you, Daddy.
6 farthings. Pay the man, Dan.
And a gold shekel.
That's not what they use.
Oh,
they use the queen.
Quid.
Quid.
They use quid.
They use quids.
Yes.
Let's talk about Viscounts.
Yes. Of the West Kingdom.
Viscounts of the West Kingdom. Viscounts of the West Kingdom is another Shem Phillips game. I think McDonald.
Oh, he had a farm.
I will let you go ahead and laugh that one out, because that was not that funny.
You said it.
Did I say it?
You said it.
Okay, I'm sorry. But the guy who did Circadians, which we love.
Oh, yeah.
Circadians
great.
First Light. Did Viscounts of the West Kingdom. And Viscounts of the West Kingdom, I hope that you like going in circles, because this game is all about rondels.
That's my boy.
You go round and round and round.
Sam McDonald.
Sam McDonald.
Sam J. McDonald. What's J stand for?
Jesuits.
Jacques.
No.
Sam Jacques McDonald.
Why do people utilize their middle initial? Like my name and middle initial is D. I forget yours.
Jared D. Gabier.
Yours is AA Ron.
That's right.
No, it's not. I can't remember your middle name.
I don't.
Aurora.
Aurora Borealis.
No, it's
Moraga.
a girl's name. That's why.
How dare you put me in a box?
Because it's a girl's name. You got a girl's name.
It's Andres.
That's what I thought. That's what I told you. It's a girl's name.
It's Andre if I was French.
Andres.
And actually, my nephew is named Andre.
Very nice. Anyways, in Viscounts
I
of...
think he's in jail right now, actually. Let me check on Andre.
I don't know. R.I.P.
He's not dead.
But he's in jail.
But he's got like 5 baby mamas he needs to get in touch with.
Oh.
Personal family business.
Rest in payments.
Rest in payments.
That's what that means. Oh, alimony. In Discounts of the West Kingdom, you are basically going in circles, playing these cards from your hand. That's basically what it's like. I hate to spoil our semi-review of this game. I'm going to. I do not like it. Matter of fact, I think it's probably one of my least favorite Shem Phillips. And I don't really like Shem Phillips games. But this one, out of all the West Kingdom games, I think this is... I don't like Paladins. Matter of fact, I think I hate Paladins.
Did we finish Paladins? I don't think
I hate Paladins. I think this is a step up above Paladins. I do not like this game. I feel no need to play it again.
I preferred Paladins to this.
Okay. That's not saying a lot.
It's not, but we played Architects. That was first. We actually finished our game of Architects.
Architects is pretty good. Like, I think
That's not what you said when we played it, but yeah, it's the best of the 3.
Of the West Kingdoms, yes. It's kind of like saying, which Rocky movie do you like the best?
I don't know that I've ever seen a Rocky movie all the way through except number 1.
Which is a good one.
Rocky 2. Which one's the one with Mr. T?
That he comes in. I think
that's 3.
That's 3. The Russian is the 4th.
4. That's 4.
If he dies, he dies.
5 is with.
That's kind of where they go off the chains.
Off the chain?
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Then it goes on to be the Expendables.
Then
and it's like it just keeps going.
Then he became a mobster, a comedy mobster.
Yeah, it just doesn't. It doesn't.
Then he threw his mom off a train, didn't he?
Do you know Stop or My Mom Will Shoot?
Stop or My Mom Shoot. That's
Stop
what I was thinking
or My
of.
Mom Will Shoot. That was
starring Estelle Getty.
Yeah. Hashtag Golden Girls.
That's right.
So what I don't like about Viscounts is simply this. You're given a hand of cards. You draw up to your hand limit, which is generally 3, and you place one of these cards on your tableau. And then you utilize this big rondelle, which the artwork on it and is covered in symbols, which I do not like. And the way that, since it's circular, it's hard to be able to see what's going on. But you go around this big rondelle and you're doing one of 4 main actions, which is either you're getting resources, you're picking up these little scrolls that you're going to use to gain victory points, or you're placing your workers, which the worker placement aspect of this game is a joke, in my opinion. You're placing your workers inside, get this, another rondelle that is symbolized by a castle in the middle of the board. So it's like a rondelle within a rondelle. It's a rondelle. And there's separate rules for that rondelle because when you get 3 workers in one spot, they split and they go separate ways, and then you can throw somebody out of the castle. If all this sounds confusing, it's because it is. But the main mechanic of the game is simply play a card into your tableau and then pick an action. And that action allows you have a certain strength of that action depicted by the certain symbols on your card. And then on your next turn, you move that card down a little bit, you play another card. On your next turn, you move that card down a bit, you play another card. You end up with 3 cards on your tableau. Eventually, one of them falls off, and some of those cards give you bonuses if they fall off. Some of them give you active bonuses as they stay on your tableau, and some of them don't give you any bonuses at all. Anyways, this game was a mess. A mess. I did not like it. I don't like rondelles that much. I certainly don't like it when rondelles are the center point of the game and it's just go in circles and look at symbols, and everything about this game kind of got me. I don't know why it upset me.
The tableau that you play in front of you is okay. It's also, again, this is like, I don't know who the first, Hansa Teutonica did this, where you can upgrade, and as you upgrade, you get more bonuses on your home board, scythe-like. That's fine. The one thing I didn't like about that is the little meeples they use. It's a mild inconvenience, but they obstruct your view of your home board. Like what the stuff above your little buildings that you can build. The board being a circular fashion, things were obstructed. Again, yes, iconography everywhere. The thing I don't like is when you go to that castle action, I don't like when things aren't depicted somewhere in the game, either on your player board, a freaking player aid, people. Give me some player aids. The whole castle action, unless it's in the rules and that's it.
Oh, so yeah,
you have to remember that crap.
So let me describe the castle action. So there's I don't want to say it's useless. It's the center point of the game is this little round castle that's in the middle of the board. And when your Viscount gets close to this castle, you can place workers into said castle. And the rules go something like this. You have to determine how much strength you have, which determines how many workers you can place inside the castle. And then if there's, more than three or more, then you can kick somebody else's out, and then you move them to the left and to the right.
Well, if there's 3 or more of your own, they can go to the next level of the castle. And you do the same thing there. And that level, if there's 3 or more, you can send your dude to the next level. But if the 3 or more, after you've done that action, after you've done the 3 or more of your own personal action, then those dudes go, you can send them to the left or to the right on the first tier of the castle.
So let me break let me break this down a little bit about why I have a real problem with this game. 1, the choices to make were simply which one of these 3 cards or 4 cards, if you expand your hand, am I going to place down? So that's not very hard of a choice to me. Like, I was never taxed to figure out which one of these cards I'm going to play. After I played them, it was simple choice of, okay, what action am I going to do? Well, there's only 4 actions. You're going to build buildings, you're going to collect money and trade and get these resources that will help you do other things, or pick up basically victory points or place workers. It's very simple. And the areas on the board are not depicted that well. So you just basically go around this board, and there was no real choices to me that I felt like I was stressing to make. Like, it seemed like I knew what the best move was going to be. I just have to go through these motions of, okay, I'm going to build something. So I'm going to play this card, and I'm going to go here, and now I'm going to pay this much. It was very ho-hum. It really felt like a rondelle, like one of those things that's on a playground that you get on, just spins in circles and circles and circles and circles. And you think it's fun because when you get off, you're dizzy. And for a moment, you're like, oh, that was cool. And you realize, no, this made me sick. And I'm frustrated. That's what this game made me, was sick and frustrated, because I couldn't really plan ahead. I couldn't really think deeply about which strategy I'm going to do, because what strategy was there? Was there going to be building buildings? Well, okay. Well, I'm going to buy
building buildings and putting your people in the castle.
Yeah, and so is putting the people in the castle what I want to do? Well, that gives me victory points. Well, is doing this what you want to do? Well, that gives you victory points.
Scrolls.
I'm really just being pushed towards whatever strategy that's available to me rather than something that I can decide to do. Like, at the beginning of the game, I can't go, I'm going to put all my people in this castle and there's nothing you can do about it. And that's the strategy I'm going to do, because there might not be cards out there that depict that resource or that ability that I need. And so why? It's functional. Now, don't get me wrong. I think this game is very, very functional. And that is something that I generally say about a game that lacks theme and heart and just a soul. Viscounts is basically a discount rondelle. I can think of like 2 rondelles off the top of my head that are better than this. One being Imperial 20.
I was going to say, that's the only one I could think of off the top of my head.
You haven't played the other one, but Trajan.
Oh.
Trajan is another one that is very dry, very themeless, but literally, no pun included, runs circles, no pun included, runs circles around discounts. Viscounts. That's what I mean. It's like you're going to Walmart.
Discount architects.
Ooh.
It's a plethora of options. And I think you can plan ahead for what you want. You just have to hope you get a card that comes out that has it.
I don't like hope. Planning and hope are 2 separate things.
Well, then you wouldn't like Star Wars Episode 4.
Oh, I want to talk about a game that I did like. Okay, first off, let me get off of Viscounts.
Wait. So Viscounts.
No.
Between a 0 and a 10, what would you say?
No, it's functional. And anything that's functional, I will
5.
I at least think it's average. Now, once I think that it's average, I then go, do I want to play it again? I have no want to play it again. I'd rate it a 4. 4 or 3. 3.5. 3.5, I'm locked in. 3.5, baby.
I would go 5 myself, as I would. It's
fantastic artwork, as always.
Oh. Components?
Oh, my God. Don't get me caught.
Those flimsy, paper thin tab, whatever that is, your player board. Not a board, player
napkin.
Sheet of
player napkin.
Player napkin.
Player napkin.
Oh my God. You think Terraforming Mars has bad components? This is, oh my, it angered me.
Shots fired.
You could nearly see through it. Hold up, you could see right through it.
Oh, Bonacor's thinking, wait a minute, there's somebody out there that can make cheaper components?
And the cards.
Hold my beer.
The cards are super thin.
There's nothing that irritates me more. I like thick cards.
I like thick, juicy cards.
Thick cards.
And I cannot lie.
That have linen on them. Thick cards with linen.
Throw some sheets on there.
Yes. Speaking of thick cards.
Nights in white linen.
I don't know that song.
That's Satin. It's by the Police.
Oh.
You never heard Nights in White Satin?
Phil Collins. I like
I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Crockett and Tubbs.
Yeah, I like Crockett.
Cigar boats.
That's cigarette boats.
Cigarette
boats. Cigarette boats.
No,
I know what you was talking about. When you said cigar boats, I stepped back for a moment and thought, wait a minute.
Is that right?
Yeah, cigarette boats.
Cigarette boats.
Because, I know what you're talking about.
I like every time I used to see a cigarette boat on the lake, I was like, that's a drug dealer.
That's a drug dealer.
I've seen that in Miami Vice.
No, if we see a cigarette boat over here, they're just bass fishermen. That's all they do. My neighbor, I will never understand how the fact that I've got everybody has a boat but me. Like literally people who I've never seen fish, they have a boat and they have a bass boat. They have a $40,000 bass boat.
I love boats. But my God, all I've ever heard people do when they have a boat is complain about how much work and effort they are.
Yeah, I don't know why a boat is different than a car.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if there's more to upkeep. You get water everywhere and that's hard to... I don't know, but man, I sure love tubing. Put me on the lake, do some tubing. Oh, I could do that all day. At least I used to could.
Doesn't Mark Tubin, doesn't he own the Mavericks? He drives a cigarette boat, one of those Cuban cigar boats. So I was going to talk about a game that I did like. This game called Skora, Skora. The designer is... Rory Muldoon.
Skora Quest.
No. Skora is okay, so first off, let me get everything bad about this game out of the way. This was a game that was actually sent to me as a review copy. We don't get many of those because we never request them. But this game, I actually saw on one of the Facebook board game reviewer groups, and I said, hey, I want to look at this. Skora is about... I don't know. Is it Vikings fishing? It has a very Viking feel to it. It has some amazing artwork. Would you agree with me on that? Is that
yes.
Okay. It has some amazing artwork.
And not even like pictures of things, just I would say graphic design.
Yeah, I want to know who did the artwork on this.
You could probably look it up.
It's by Lunchbox Games, who I had never heard of. And unfortunately, there are some component issues, like the box ripped as soon as I opened it up. But it has one of those favorite boxes that I like Osprey Games, that has like the book opening.
Yeah.
It has
artist Rory. Oh, the designer and artist, same dude. Or I say dude, I don't know. Rory Muldoon. That's a hard name.
I'm glad I wasn't the only one. I had to thank. That's just not a Southern name that we can pronounce. There's too many.
Rory Muldoon.
Rory Muldoon. Some amazing artwork. The components are sort of somewhat low quality, but this is a looks like might be not a self-published game, but from a not well-known design publisher that I know of. Maybe Lunchbox Games might be a huge publisher. I've never heard of them. In Skora, you are basically fishermen going out upon this little area, and it is I want to say it's a Well, it's a card placement game and not set collection, but there is some set collection. So essentially what it is, there's this little triangular area out in the front of all the players. It's A, B, and C. And this is where the fishing areas are at. And on your turn, you have a handful of cards, and you're playing these cards out to those areas, and you're also putting your boats out there. And those cards allow you to manipulate the cards are actually the types of fish and the value of the fish, the victory points they give you, and so forth and so on. And as you're playing those cards out there, you're moving your boats around all over these 3 different areas. And so it plays from like 2 to 4 players, I believe. And as you're playing this game, you're playing a card, moving these boats around. At the end, after you've played all your cards, you then see who has the area majority in those 3 areas, who has the most boats. And then you take turns selecting cards out of those areas. And then at the end of the game, you basically see who has the most victory points. And plus, you have a hidden objective, like to catch so many types of this fish or so forth and so on. This game purports to play in 15 to 20 minutes. I think I taught the game to Gobby and played it in like 15 minutes. It was very fast. It's very quick. And it smacks of, me and Gobby both agreed on this, it smacks of The King is Dead. Mm-hmm. It has that very tight, very, like I say, I think it plays better with probably 3 or 4 players, more players.
You literally have 7 cards you're going to play the whole game.
Yeah, with 2 players. But with with more players, you have even less cards. You have even less moves.
Oh, okay.
So it's
and every time you play a card, well, not every time, but generally, you're placing a boat that is fighting for area control of a certain section. And you can, when you play a card, oftentimes you can play a boat that you're going to fish with. And when you play that boat, you can play it to that spot. And oftentimes you can move from other spots, move things around, just kind of like, just kind of not really King is Dead, but it kind of had a kingish, is-ish, deadish type feel.
The king is not feeling well. This game, if you would have just told me that this game was from Osprey Games.
It's from Osprey Games, Jerry.
Well, I would have almost believed you.
Oh.
Because obviously, like some of the components are not as good. The cards don't have that linen finish. And like I said, that some of the boxes are a little low quality. But
imagine all the people.
The artwork on this.
Imagine all the meeple. Sing linen.
Oh, it took me a second there. That's not funny.
John Lennon.
And
I put meeple in there instead of people, making it game related.
That's
imagine all the people.
That's amazing. You should write for Walker, Texas Ranger.
You're the Yoko to my Lennon.
I'm the Yoko to your oh no.
No.
But Skora is actually a game that I was impressed by it. Actually.
Skora, the Explorer. I don't know what Skora means. You should have read the book.
I did read the book. It's something mythical.
Okay, well, I was about to say, because it says fantasy, category fantasy.
It's a fantasy fishing game. Do you want to fish for bass in your dreams? Skora.
Skora is a very nice, I would say it's best at least at 3.
Yeah. But I was impressed by it.
4 would really be tight. But
I think that this is a game that if you're looking for something that is very, very quick, and like I said, it says 15 to 20 minutes, they mean it. It is a quick, very light, very easy to explain. I would say, I don't want to say it's a gateway game.
It was a review copy sent to us for free. This game is amazing. You gotta get it.
Oh, shut up.
What?
That does not. Just because it's a review copy sent to us doesn't mean that we like it.
It's amazing.
You can just ask poor Chad Elkins about that. You ragged on all of his games.
Who?
Chad Elkins.
I liked Kingswood.
Ah, you like the Kingswood, do you?
I loved it. That was sent to us for free. Loved it. But it really is good. I mean, it's not amazing. It's a simple little game. Right. If you got 15, 20 minutes you want to kill, it's good.
But here's the thing. I would much rather play this simple, basic game over Viscounts any day. I don't think complexity...
sorry. We did not even get to Viscounts, the whole freaking cards that we never even got to.
Language? What'd you say?
Those debt cards.
Debt?
The black and red cards that are the timing of the game. Like when you run out of those, game's over. We played for a solid 30 minutes without clearing one of those off the board.
Just like life.
And our virtue, I don't know. After Dune, I doubt myself a lot now. It's like, did we play this right?
I do know.
I do know.
I've been drinking.
The countdown in Viscounts is you put these cards in a 2-player game. You put 12 cards on top of this thing, and when those 12 cards are gone, it's the debt card and the red. I can't remember the freaking red card's name. Game over. Play one more round. We played for a solid 30 minutes, never touched those cards. And I think you touch them when your corruption and virtue.
First of all, when you have that corruption and virtue markers, which are on your player board.
And they didn't move a whole lot for us.
They didn't move a whole lot. But it was because I was extremely virtuous, as I am in real life.
Mm-hmm.
And you were completely the same. Like, there was just no skullduggery.
There wasn't much going on.
There was
I don't know.
Our kingdom, our Viscounts of the West Kingdom was very lawful. There was no, and so I think that kept the game going longer than what it should have.
Like, if I could see the game ticking down, that might have added, I don't know, motivation to what am I doing? Yeah.
Anticipation.
But it was just like, oh my God, we haven't even begun to fight.
It was like
John Paul Jones.
Yeah. R.I.P.
John Paul Jones was a little boy. He pointed to the sea. When I get to be a man, a fighting man I'll be.
I don't think that our European listeners know about John Paul Jones.
Really? JPJ?
They don't.
That's because he embarrassed them.
That's true. We don't talk about that.
We don't
don't want to lose any listeners.
But you know what? That's according to our history. He was probably an atrocious man.
That's true. That's true. I've been doing some reading on some of our historical figures.
Oh.
Yeah. Did you know, what's his face? The dude that was going over there to Britain during, what's his face? Benjamin Franklin.
Ben Franklin.
Yeah, apparently he
discovered electricity.
Yeah, no, he apparently was quite the
ladies' man.
Yes.
Oh, I heard about that.
I didn't realize that.
Oh yeah, I think he had several venereal diseases.
Yes, he had the cheese coney.
Cheese coney. Oh. You got to clap that out there.
Oh no! Oh,
every time you,
no.
You knew he was coming.
No.
Here comes Ben.
Okay.
Here comes Ben.
Listen. Stop.
I've been with Franklin. That's what all the ladies said. That's the sound of Ben right there.
I'm done. Close this out.
That's going to do it for this episode of the Board Game Snobs.
Ended on the top.
Until when? Who knows? I'm Gobby. That's Jerry.
Yes.
Thank you for listening to the Board Game Snobs. Stay classy.